Okay, so we're going to do mindfulness meditation today. We're just going to introduce it, but I'm having fun right now. I'm actually doing an autobiography, which is basically just blogs. Every day I try to write for 20 minutes or something about my life. And so in doing that, what was interesting with my wife and myself was that it came up that, like, why did I get involved with Buddhism, and what did I do? And I don't know, I mean, for whatever reason, psychologically, I don't know, but I just wanted to meditate. It was just sort of like so important just to get in touch with myself and to feel grounded about who I was and where I was coming from. And that was paramount in my life. And so, for example, I mean, I got ordained as a monk when I was 20, and this is not for you guys to think you need to get ordained or something. I'm just sharing story, but it's an introduction. And so I was ordained in 1971 in August, I guess. And then by 1972, I was, I went up to the Solo Khumbu, up towards where Mount Everest is. And I was at about 15,000 feet. And with one of the Tibetan Lamas that was my teacher, he had a small monastery. And I put myself in a 3-month retreat, like 100 days. And I was up in a little hut up in the mountains, totally isolated, all by myself. Didn't have anybody visit for the whole 3 months. And I did have exercises to do. I mean, that is meditative exercises, but basically I just sat there and I had something to meditate on, and I just focused in on that. And at the end of that, I asked my other Tibetan Lama, it was called Lama Yeshe, I've just done 9 months, 3 months. I've just been in, just meditating on this one particular thing, and so what do you have to share? Like, what did I just do to myself, with all this meditation? And he said, just remember. Remember? He says, yes, just remember. If you had some good experience, remember it. It keeps it alive. Anyway, then later I went to, at the end of that year, I went to Dharamsala, which is where the Dalai Lama lived. And then I went into another 9-month retreat this time. And I had a lot of spiritual exercises to do and such, but I spent 9 months again in silence, living in a little hut. Someone delivered my food 3 times a day. And I, again, sort of just very intense. So I'm sharing that not to say that, oh, you need to do this. No, not at all. But just I put a lot of time in. And then since that time, if I add up all the years that I actually did solitary retreat, I have come up with almost 9 years of meditation. So I'm 72 years old in another couple of days, actually. And of that, nine years of my life have been in solitary retreats, just doing meditation, whether it's been on, whatever the exercise I was doing and such. So anyway, having done all of that, though, why I said that was because it was all based on faith. Buddhism, we have faith, so I saw these Tibetan Lamas and I thought, wow, these guys have really got their act together. They're happy. I remember when I met Lama Thupten Yeshe, it was my very first teacher that sort of hooked me into Buddhism. Here he is, he's 35 years old. He's celibate, a monk. And he was just the happiest guy. He just oozed happiness. And I'm not talking about sort of like religious fervor or something. He was just a happy man. And I thought, wow. And that's actually what got me. I said, I want to be like that. I want to be happy like that guy is. That guy's unbelievably happy. And, yes, he talked about Buddhism, but Buddhism, one way, is a philosophy. Whether you're a Buddhist, a Christian, a Catholic, or whatever, Buddhism can be applied to your life and it'd be very beneficial. In Canada, I had quite a few Christian students, and what they did is, if their meditations, they found it benefited their practice. And I had no intention of making them Buddhist. They said, these are just the Buddhist techniques you can use and they'll help you and such. And now I'm in Mexico, which is primarily Catholic. And again, I certainly don't stress anything about, need to become a Buddhist. I just, hey, meditation and the contemplative meditations can be very beneficial. So having said that, nowadays, mindfulness, they dropped the word meditation because it has too close to being Buddhist, and they need to sort of like de-religion it or whatever they want to do. But now mindfulness is huge. And it's even being incorporated in schools, even here in Mexico. Some schools now have mindfulness classes. Certainly in the United States, there's a lot of schools that are now incorporating it. And it has nothing to do with religion, just getting in touch with yourself. And for me personally, that was what really was all about. I mean, I was, from when I was born until I was 19 years old, I mean, just sort of growing up, trying to figure out what life is all about. It was the 1960s, so it was a great time to be born and raised. I mean, there's the Rolling Stones and Led Zeppelin and Fleetwood Mac and all that stuff. And I even went to the very last concert that Jimi Hendrix was ever in the Isle of Wight, and then he died in London, and I was in London at the time. So it was a great time to be growing up, but I didn't have meaning. And I guess that was the thing that really bugged me the most, is that what was the meaning of my life, And just to touch briefly, I mean, as an 18-year-old, my mother moved me out of the house. My father's died. He died when I was 6, but I had a fairly good job even as an 18-year-old. I got my own apartment. I bought a brand new car, which cost $2,000 at that point. So, hey, cars were cheap then and stuff. And then in Canada, they changed the drinking age to 19. So suddenly, and then I just turned 19. So suddenly I've got my own apartment. I got a brand new car. Drinking age is my age, and it's party time. And within, about 6 months of that, all my friends crashing at my house on the weekend and drinking themselves and stuff, I got massively depressed, because what was the meaning of life? I mean, I had attained the ultimate, I had attained nirvana from a 19-year-old boy, age guy's point of view, I mean, all the things I had. I mean, a really good stereo system too. Anyway, so it was all empty. I said, what the hell's all this about? So I ended up selling it, all of that, flew to England, and then finally ended up in India. But again, I'm not trying to tell my story, but just I was looking for meaning. I think, what's the meaning of my life? And in Buddhism, there was that presentation, but it's not like something external. It's being in touch with yourself. And I can say, after I spent 14 years in India, that I feel pretty good about who I am now. I mean, I could say I'm in touch with myself. I say, hey, I know who I am. I know where I'm coming from. I know what's important and what's not important. Yeah, I mean, I have some habits which maybe aren't so conducive for what I want to do, but still, I'm feeling much more self-confident, in touch with myself. And when I have lousy situations, somebody angry with me or something, I tend to be able to deal with that quite well. And I have to say thank you to all of the years of meditation, and then the Buddhist philosophy has helped me. But again, I'm not pushing Buddhism. It's not necessary. Mindfulness meditation has got its own unit. In fact, you could literally say that if you took the Buddhist religion, you could modulize it and pull out modules, and those modules don't have anything to do with Buddha, and you could stick them in any religion you wanted, and they would work, because they're just common sense. That's the big thing with Buddhism. It just has a lot to do with common sense. Anyway, so mindfulness. I pulled a couple things up. I think I posted it in the chat. Just a second here. Let me see how. I'll post it again just in case, because I posted it earlier. And here we go. There's mindfulness. Okay, so there, I just posted it again. That's just something to quote. And then here, if I wonder if I can do this. That's another thing there. That's community contemplative life org articles, 6 scientific proven things. There's lots of links there. But bottom line is okay, what does mindfulness do? So first off, mindfulness is nothing other than being aware of your breathing. Okay, so when I came back to Canada in 1984, Buddhism, everything was like really, really new. I mean, I don't think the Dalai Lama had come to America yet, or maybe he'd come a couple times and stuff. So the thing is, really talking new. And I do presentations in universities. And the comment would be is that, well, my minister of the church says the devil will get me. I don't know, oh, wow, that's really, really odd. And then that even included yoga. So it was a pretty closed-minded view at that particular point. But the main thing was that that's the antithesis of meditation. Meditation is totally being conscious and aware. It has nothing to do with unconscious and rolling your eyeballs in the back of your head and sometimes, I don't know, vibrating or speaking in voices or something silly like that. No, it's just about being totally present and conscious. And that's what makes it really special. So Anyway, mindfulness now is highly, let's say, investigated. A lot of universities have whole departments dedicated to mindfulness and the review of it. And so I just sort of pulled off this thing, 6 scientifically proved benefits of mindfulness and meditation, which could actually be false. And what I'm referring to is that sometimes it's a bit exaggerated. Like, I mean, you hear, for example, if you take, if you eat carrots, it'll make your eyeballs better or something like that. And there's this big sort of thing about carrots and organic carrots are even better or whatever, and then, there's no scientific foundation for it, where these are fairly accurate. So mindfulness reduces anxiety. And there's no way that we live without anxiety. But the big thing is that we basically learn how to deal with it a little better. So it's not that anxiety dominates us, but rather we are able to take a breath and such. So coming back to what is mindfulness? Well, you take a comfortable posture, spine erect, your chest is open so that you can breathe comfortably, compared to, for example, if you sat hunched over, well, you just limited your lung capacity by about 35%. Sitting up straight just means is that your lungs can do their work properly and your diaphragm can move. And that means you're getting 100% of the oxygen, or at least a large portion of oxygen you need. And that makes you feel good. Oxygen makes you feel good. A great example is, walk up to the top of a hill and get, a nice fresh breeze of the wind in your face, and you sort of like get tingles because it's all this oxygen going into your system. So oxygen is really important, just physiologically. So sitting in good posture, okay, so you're breathing naturally, no special control or anything. And then you move your attention or you place your attention on the movement of your chest. So it's actually, you're focused on sensation. Now, I'll take us into a little meditation after some time, but for right now, that's what we're talking about. And in one of the research programs I looked into, it said, if you could do that for 15 minutes a day for 2 months, that you would actually have some notable changes going on inside your body, just for 2 months of 15 minutes a day. So that's researched, investigated, and proved. And whatever, they had like 100 people non-meditating and 100 people meditating, and they did 15 minutes a day, just breathing meditation, no motivation, nothing sort of special for cultivating that other than the discipline. And then they had these results that came out of it. So for one is that you get better control of your anxiety. And that would be if, for example, you have a constant feeling of anxious or worried, you feel irritated, agitated, or easily annoyed, argumentative and defensive with family and friends, restless sleeping, low levels of energy, waking up and feeling tired, restless and frantic mind, often self-critical or critical of others, feeling flat and uninspired, having difficulty concentrating, skin rashes and conditions, clenching your jaw and grinding your teeth at night, headaches and migraines. So these are all of the signs of sort of, you could say, being out of touch with yourself. And again, just talking in common sense terms, it's like when we put a lot of emphasis in the outside world, you could say it controls us. Now, we all work. I mean, actually, I'm lucky I've retired now, but the thing is, if you are working, yeah, you've got demands on you 100%, your job, what's going on, people are higher up, your supervisor, whatever, looking down on you, and then people underneath you not doing as good as you'd like them to, and just money. I mean, it's expensive to live in America, I mean, it's expensive to live in Canada. And stuff. So yeah, we have a lot of things demanding us. So you could say the outside world does make a lot of demands on us, but we can start to balance that a little bit by putting some emphasis in our internal life, like, who am I? And what do I deem as important? And how do I respond to those situations? And it's not just sort of like knee-jerk reactive responding. It's sort of like, okay, where am I coming from? So meditation is that. It's that personal clarity and getting in touch with yourself. And that's where then it can be very beneficial if you do have a spiritual practice, but even if you don't, it'll help you a lot too. So example, that they give then the benefits of meditation, which is sort of fun. You'll have higher brain functioning. Now, this actually is really intriguing. And again, this is just the benefits of meditation. So I like to sort of make the joke, it's like the benefits of brushing your teeth. Now, all of us, I think all of us at least brush our teeth in the morning and at nighttime. Maybe some of us brush our teeth in the middle of the day, So that's just sort of like, why? Well, we don't like cavities. You don't like going to the dentist. You like your breath to be fresh. I mean, we all do these like reasons why, like benefits why brushing your teeth is good. And now we're sort of totally trained that we do it. Well, meditation is the same thing. It's might call it a mental hygiene instead of physical hygiene. That basically you are taking care of yourself internally. So it's the first one. It says higher brain functioning, and this they've basically researched this and with whether it's with MIRs or CIGs or whatever you want to call them, things that actually your physical brain is plastic. Now, it used to be thought that it was pretty much a set thing, but no, it's very malleable thing. So the thing is, when you meditate, your physical structure of your brain will change. And as one of the things I read was, it said, even to change like 1 millimeter in your brain is like 1 billion pathways of nerve energy. So it's massive. It's not just something small. So brain function does get better. And of course, then they have the other one is that, you will do better in school if you're in school, or if you're having exams and things. If you have a regular meditation thing, your memory will be better. It says increase your immune function. And that one also, again, it's been validated in research. And like, why would that be the case? Okay, if you think about us, like, we're normally always like a car accelerating, like, got to do this, got to do that, got to get here, got this time limit, got that time limit. We're always sort of like accelerating. So when you meditate, what it's like you take your foot off the accelerator, you let the car coast to a stop, and you let it idle. And when it idles, it maybe corrects itself. Now, I don't know if a car would, but the thing is, our body and mind, it seems that when we put ourselves into an idle position, it benefits us. We suddenly get a little bit more in touch with ourselves and things. And so basically the immune system, and that is documented, that if you are more relaxed and in touch with yourself, your immune system, that the things that fight diseases will get better. Lower blood pressure, again, I'll talk about that in a sec, but that's thing. A lower heart rate, that's true. Increased awareness, yeah. Increased attention and focus, yeah, that's good, because you're training yourself. You're actually cultivating the thing that does the focus and the attention. Increased clarity with thinking and perception, yeah, because you sort of clear away the clutter and you're able to bring your mind to a more focused point of view. That's just with breathing meditation. I mean, nothing special, no Buddhism, nothing like that. Just breathing, okay? Attention to your breathing. Increased clarity of thinking, lower anxiety levels. Yeah, well, you'll never get rid of anxiety, but at least you can manage it a bit better. Experiencing being calm and internally still, and experiencing feeling connected and such. So those are the ones that are listed in the 6 benefits and such. All you have to do is research it. In fact, I mean, you go on, was it Lama Google? I'm joking, or Minister Google, or Sacerdote Google. And you just put in mindfulness meditation, you can get all sorts of sites which sort of promote things. So that's nice, and it can be beneficial if you want to have something, a guided meditation. But I'm going to teach you tonight or today. It's not going to be a lot, just enough to give you sort of a basic foundation. Maybe after 2-3 weeks, we can meet again, and I'll get you guys to review yourselves, and then I'll give you some more things to do. I'm happy to do that for you. I mean, Gregory is a dear friend and happy to help. Okay, so having said all of that, okay, what are we going to do? Well, remember, all we're doing is learning how to be attentive to this moment. So if I took my left hand, and this is my natural breathing, and you don't have to do any control, just natural inhalation and exhalation. What you do is you take your mind, which is my right hand, and it flutters around here and there, what I'm going to do with my car. Today's Sunday, I want to go to this and do that, blah, 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 blah. And you say, okay, I want you to come here, and you try to put the two together, like my mindfulness and my meditate and my mind, my mindfulness and my breathing are connected. That's the whole thing you're trying to do. Now, I'm going to give you 4 steps to help you organize that, but bottom line, that's it. Now, what happens, and this again comes from research, that on average, you'll last 15 seconds to So don't get depressed, okay? But for about 15 seconds, you can do it. And then the mind will say, oh, you know, a thought will come up, a feeling, and you go blah, 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 blah. And what you have to do is just let go and return to whatever your breathing is doing. No criticism. That's really important. I had one student in Canada who ran a personal business, and he said, when I sit down to meditate, I think about my staff, where the money's going to come from, the items I need for the next project that we have. That's what I meditate on. And I said, yeah, okay, that's it. That's you. Don't reject who you are. I mean, when you meditate, you're not going to run off to some la-la land where none of these things happen. But you learn in that environment to let go a little bit, to relax a little bit. And the thing that's going to be really powerful for you is your breathing. And I promise, after 50 years of meditating, that the thing that's most important for me is my breath. That if I suddenly find I got too much stuff happening, I go to my breathing, and then I'm lucky I have 50 years of like meditation with breathing and a variety of other things, and I can immediately get control over myself. I mean, not massively, you know, I still get upset, I still get agitated, but I got a little bit better control, okay? And that's the benefit of breathing meditation, that you're always doing it. Because when you're not, you're dead, okay? So it's always with you, and you can always then turn your mind to that. So the idea is, okay, just you think of, okay, my left hand is my breathing, and I try to put my mind together with that. That's mindfulness. Unbelievably simple. And for 15 minutes a day, in 2 months, you'll actually have some benefits show up, okay? But there's a little bit more that we can do with that. So first off, posture. I'm sitting in a chair right now, and I'm 72. I can't sit cross-legged very long anymore, so I sit in a chair when I meditate. That's just fine. If you're young and supple, or you are doing yoga regularly, okay, then sit cross-legged. But if not, sitting in a chair, just fine. Don't have your legs crossed. They're sort of, you know, like, you know, feet above your knees in line with your hips, and then your chest being upright. So that's just the first thing, is just take that posture. And all it is you're parking yourself, putting yourself in a posture where you won't get bugged by anything too much. And we're not talking about long meditations. I mean, 15 minutes is just great. If you want to do 20, that's okay. I wouldn't recommend 30, because then it gets to sort of like you get tired, and then you feel sort of like, I don't really want to be here anymore. And then that's not a good motivation to come back to your meditation the next time. Better to do short sessions, and in those short sessions, you feel good, and then quit. I know of a friend of mine who's in a corporate environment, very high-end corporate environment. He's got, you know, personal secretary and this and that. And about 2 or 3 times a day, he'll actually lie on the floor, you know, face up. It's called, you know, what's called a yoga. I can't remember the word in Spanish, or the yoga posture, but it's lying on your back, your hands to your side of your hips and stuff. And he lies there for 8 to 10 minutes, he says. So he just says, secretary, hey, I'm not taking any calls. He lies on the floor and does that because he can relax and get into his body. Okay, and then he gets up and he carries on with his life. And then if life's again a little bit too intense, but he's got a time when he can take another 8 to 10 minutes, he does it again. He lies down on the floor, does it. So, I mean, you can do these things. In fact, I do know of some corporations that even have a meditation room now, that they'll let their employees go to it. I mean, so it is recognized as something to do. But if you don't have that, I mean, again, it's sort of a joke. I mean, if nothing else, just go to the bathroom. You know, no one's going to bug you there. You know, so you go in the bathroom, sit on the toilet, you know, where you can put the toilet lid down if you want. So you sit on the toilet and meditate, you know, if you're at work. And no one's going to say, hey, why are you in the toilet so long? I'm constipated. You know, anyway, but, you know, I mean, there are ways to meditate even when you're at work. Okay. And maybe if you have a little private cubicle or a little office, you can just sit there quietly for even 2 or 3 minutes, because all you're doing is getting in touch with yourself. And with time, you'll actually really enjoy that, because when you think about it, there's the outside world. This person's calling on you. That person's calling on you. This is the demand. This has got to be done. And say, yeah, I mean, I'm just completely like, you know, vibrating with all this intensity about stuff. You know, and then let alone coming home, you know, I mean, you come home and you got some shitty situation with somebody, or maybe you've got, you know, money problem, I don't know, whatever it might be, you know, again, like, oh, so much stress. So you just, okay, and take 3 breaths. So posture, that's the first thing, we just posture, spine erect so your lungs can move. and your abdomen can move in and out comfortably, no special problems, just natural breathing. Put your head just a little bit forward. Why? Because your head weighs about 10 kilos or something. I don't know what it exactly weighs, but just to say it weighs at least like 20 to 30 pounds. Okay, you put it at a place where it's balanced, so it's not going to bother you. You definitely don't want to be your right to the left or leaning to one side. You want your head nice and vertical on top of your spine, like that. Breathing through the nose, unless it's difficult, then you breathe through nose and mouth. Like I have actually, one of my nostrils is completely blocked now. So I have to breathe a little bit from my nose and mouth sometimes not. Just the way your body is. I mean, wait till you get older, guys. You're going to have all sorts of stuff that just sort of manifests. You can look forward to it. One of my Tibetan lamas once said, they said, if you, I mean, you guys are all in your 20s and 30s and stuff. If you were to experience 1 minute of being 70 years old at this point in your life now, you'd think you were dying. That's true. Right? I'm 70, and yeah, I got pains in this part of my body, pains in that part of my body, but yeah, it's okay. It's life. I'm still alive. Again, say pain at least says you're still alive. Okay, anyway, so you got posture. Then, and you sort of like just review your body, go feet, legs, torso, shoulders, neck, head. Okay, so you just, okay, I'm in touch with my body. Then shift your mindfulness attentiveness to your chest. Okay, some traditions, they talk about doing it at the nose. It's a bit too subtle, much easier. And there's actually, again, more benefits to doing it with your chest, and it's the movement of your chest. Okay, so literally you're actually meditating on sensation. But for now, let's just say, okay, that. So now we have 4 steps. And the 4 steps are, first you just label, then you go into the full experience, then you include your body, and then you inhale peace, but I'll describe it all. So please take a comfortable posture, one that you can do for at least, we'll meditate for like 5 to 10 minutes, okay, something like that. Now, one thing, take 1 big breath before we start, like that, because it's interestingly, if you do that, like take a big inhalation and then release it, you actually drop some of the luggage of the day and of that moment. And that's good because you're sort of like letting go of some stuff. And having done that, then, okay, your body, you took a comfortable posture. Hands can be on your lap or on your legs as you wish, doesn't really matter. There are details for meditation posture, but we're just regular meditators, nothing too special. So your body's fairly comfortable. And now shift your attention to inhalation and exhalation. And the first step is just label it. Okay, it's so simple. Just, I'm inhaling. I'm exhaling. I'm inhaling. I'm exhaling. And whatever your natural breathing rate is, that's all you're going to do for the next few minutes. Okay, so just take your mind, remember your attention, like your right hand is tied to just the inhalation, exhalation. Now, when you first start, it could be quite easy to hold your attention. But it's after a minute or two that you find then thoughts come up. Just remember, let go of them and return to whatever your breathing is doing. No special criticism. I'm a bad meditator, or this is too difficult. Just again and again, return to the sensation. I am inhaling, I am exhaling. Now, step number 2 is now shift over to the full experience of an inhalation. Rather than labeling it, I'm starting it, there's a sensation, I'm getting a thing, and then I'm exhaling. Okay, natural breathing, no control, the full experience of an inhalation, the full experience of an exhalation. So your attention is on a more full experience of what it is to breathe. Just be at peace with that experience. There's nothing more special to be accomplished. This mindfulness of the sensation of a full inhalation, a full exhalation in a completely natural way. Now, the third step is just include a little bit of what your body is doing. So rather than just being mindful of breathing, you're also a little bit more aware of sensations in the ribs, the muscles, the diaphragm, just in a general way. Say 90% of your mind is attention to breathing, 10% is just included the body. And then the final step is I inhale peace, I exhale peace. So you have that full sense of mindfulness, attention, and you're just adding a quality to say, I'm inhaling peace, or I am peace, I exhale peace, I am peace. And one thing as you continue to meditate is relax into it. yes, you need some discipline, but also it's sort of like, we relax into being present to this moment. So you can relax your meditation, please. And that was that was 9 minutes of meditation approximately. And what you're doing is, if you took your conscious awareness, like you there, where Bradley or Gregory or Mary thing is, you're knowing how to feel relaxed. You are consciously able to invoke relaxation. And that will be when if you do a regular meditation, it's something that you can literally pull on. You can pull it into your life. It is you have a conscious experience that you are familiar with. But the really unique thing is, tie it with your breathing, because you always are breathing. And so, for example, let's say suddenly you have some really irate person in front of you. Okay, you can focus on them, which will get you have to anyway, they might attack you, but if you just bring at least, some of your attention back to your breathing, you'll find you have a heck of a lot more control. You're not in that person's world with all of their hatred or anger or frustration. You're in your world, which you've developed over a period of maybe 5-6 months, a year, 2 years of meditation. You're able to go there because you've got the familiarity with the experience. And your breathing was the bridge to help you get there. And I can promise you, for me, that's massive. I mean, that's, suddenly, I'm married. So suddenly my wife's in front of me and she's all upset that I didn't wash the dishes well enough, or I didn't flush the toilet, or whatever else I might have done, the thing is, it's okay, yes, I'm listening to you. I will flush the toilet in the future. I do flush the toilet. I'm just joking. Okay. Maybe putting the toilet seat down. Okay. Anyway, I'm joking. All right. It's good to have a sense of humor. Yeah. But the thing is, this is just, a certain portion of your mind stays with your breathing. And that way, then you have a little bit more control because you're being mindful of that. And that keeps you centered. Now, give yourself, 6 months, a year, 2 years of meditation. And that's a profound place. It's not just sort of a superficial place. It's your special home. So it makes it very, very special. So those are just some thoughts with meditation. Another thing, actually, though, that, often we're always so frantic, like we've got this to do and that to do. And so actually the experiences of the moment are really diminished. So if you do mindfulness meditation, again, it's sort of my joke, is you become a hedonist. Okay, no, not really. But the point is, you could say you become an enlightened hedonist, because what is a hedonist? Well, they like to enjoy. Well, rather than just, eating 5 pieces of chocolate cake, which would make you sick anyway, you eat one with mindfulness. And mindfulness isn't something outside of that. Mindfulness is the participation with chocolate cake. So suddenly you go, whoa, this is a nice piece of chocolate cake, or this is a nice Starbucks latte, or a caramel macchiato, or whatever you want to have, it's not like I'm drinking it, but I'm thinking about something else, and so then, suddenly the coffee's finished and I've just been agitated as heck, but something is bugging me. So no, you take a breath, come back to this moment. Okay, then just take maybe, the thing is 3 breaths. There's a famous Vietnamese teacher called Thich Nhat Hanh. He's published a book called Peace in Every Step. Very, very good book. And actually, he's published another book on The Buddha and Jesus Christ. It's really, really good reading. It's from Vietnam. He's a very great teacher. He lives in France. He's passed away a little while ago, Thich Nhat Hanh. But the one book is Peace in Every Step, and then the other one is The Buddha and Christ, or something like that. Good reading. And what he's just saying is being in touch with yourself, being mindful, being compassionate. That's what life is about. So as I was saying, that you will find that actually you can enjoy a meal a lot more, because you're able to participate with it. You're not thinking of something else as you eat a very delicious meal that maybe costs you $100, instead of, it's $100 it was for nothing, So enjoy it, slow down a little bit. Okay, so that's what meditation's about and what it can do for you. I gave you the benefits, and it's no different than brushing your teeth. It's good mental hygiene. It can be applied to whatever you're into, whether you're a business person or a lawyer, if I got 3 lawyers here, okay, or you're married or whatever. You can just apply it to whatever you're doing, and it'll help you. It'll give you a more full experience of that. Okay, so so anyway, meditation applies that, and if you have a spiritual life, then of course it can bring you that too. I mean, for example, I'm a Buddhist, but I have a much greater appreciation of God now. Now, in Buddhism, we define that differently. But the thing is it's a sort of this ultimate being, of love, and again, I mean, I'm going to be off topic. I shouldn't do that. But anyway, the thing is, meditation's great if you do have a spiritual practice, because you maybe can feel connected to whomever your spiritual entity is that you have great faith in. So meditation is very, very beneficial. So having done that, I would like to open it to questions, but I'll also now, because you don't need to expose yourself. Here, let me just get this. Here, I'm going to stop the recording. So thank you very much.